Well, I've got some really disappointing news. You know what? I won't sugarcoat it. I was going to sugarcoat it, but what the frack? 2020 is shutting down. So if you've been a stock contributor to 2020, or if you've been considering joining, maybe you watched one of my videos recently videos actually, where I just talked about why I like it, then I guess you're going to be out of luck. So for the rest of you, those who may have joined from watching my video or previously on 2020, then you've probably got the email, and yeah, so we'll go over that in a second. But it looks like now 2020 is going to the stock photography graveyard, just like so many other ones did, and it's going to be happening at the end of July 2022. So if you're new here, I'm Joel. I'm a filmmaker and photographer, and I've been doing a lot of stock photography stuff lately, the last 2 years, to try to see if I can do it as a passive income stream, and so far it's not as passive as I'd like. I'm coming to you from a new location right now. You probably haven't seen me if you've been following this channel. I haven't been on for like a month. That's mostly because I've been doing a ton of traveling, actually in Bulgaria at the moment. So I will eventually show you some more of that stuff, maybe in some of the other videos coming up, so check that out. Also, I will have a couple more of my earnings videos coming up soon as well. I've got May and June that I'm getting ready to film and get those up for you as well. I know I'm a little behind, but like I said, been traveling. So I woke up the other day and I got this email from 2020, which if you've been watching all my other stock earnings videos, you'll know that they've actually been fairly consistent, albeit maybe not a lot of money I make from 2020, but they've been at least been pretty consistent since I've been with them. Well, anyways, the email was a little disappointing. So let's take a look at it real quick. So it starts out by telling us that, letting you know that 2020 will be closing down on July 31st, 2022. This difficult decision was made as part of an update to Envato's broader product strategy, and you can read more about our changes we made at a recent blog post, which I went to, I guess it was actually the beginning of June, where they talked about it, where they didn't mention that 2020 was going to be one of the casualties. Key dates prior to closure: July 1st, 2022, our final photo challenge opens for entry, so you can submit your pictures. By the time you watch this video, it would already be the 7th. For those who are invited to our promoted photos program, access to submit new photos and access to your results or points data will be removed from that date. We will review all submissions and will pay out any bonuses earned by reaching the next threshold of 100 points. In our payout to send on August 15th, 2022. Now the big one here is this: July 31st, 2022, 2020 will close, and you will no longer be able to log in. So they recommend logging in before this date in order to capture any account information you would like to retain. Now, between the 15th and 5th of August and September, your final payouts will be sent if you are owed any further earnings from licenses or your photos. And so any uncollected earnings, so if you've not received past earnings or in a country where PayPal is not currently working or receiving payouts, Envato will be reaching out via email to those users we believe are affected. If you've got more questions, you can view their FAQ here. So as it turns out, I was actually getting ready to film, I had a whole nother video all about 2020 where I was going to provide tips and things like that. You know, pros, cons, those kinds of things. It's written, everything. I was actually just getting ready to film it before I got that email. So it's a little disappointing, but let's go ahead and go to FAQ real quick so we can just see if there's any more information we can gather. Basically, what you're looking at is if you want to get paid out, you're going to need to make sure that you have your PayPal account linked ASAP. Their deadline is actually July 30th. So if you haven't yet, make sure you do that. The second thing I noticed here was that the final 2020 contributor payout cycle will be in September of 2022, which will include all of their earnings up to July 31st of 2022. Now again, like I said before, you won't be able to log in after July 31st, 2022. In fact, 2020 basically won't exist. I reached out to their customer service and that's essentially what they told me. It's gone. Everything will be deleted. So there's that too. You will get an email shortly with a link to download your tax information for 2022, which you'll need to get. You'll actually need to make sure you download that before the end of July. And then you'll also get another one sometime next year, I guess, for your fiscal year 2023 tax summary. And I think it's because Envato is an Australian company and they're on a slightly different, I think it's like a June to June fiscal year. So again, like I said, what happens to all of your images? Well, they all get deleted. So everything goes away. There's not going to be any trace of them on there at all. The whole program goes dark August 1st. So it's basically Judgment Day if you're a Terminator fan. So if you need to get anything like your data from your image licenses, like if you're a stock customer, you'll have to log in before then, before it ceases to exist at all. So for me, in addition to being a contributor to Envato, which gives me access to 2020, I'm also actually an Envato Elements subscriber. I mentioned that in the previous video. Basically, what I wonder is like what will become of access to all the images from 2020, or our downloaded license agreements. And from what I gather, I'm just gonna have to download those agreements ahead of time. And when I reached out to them, they didn't answer that question. I asked, hey, will I have access to any of these images? And they just said, again, everything's deleted. So I thought that maybe Envato, the parent company, would incorporate some of those images into their Elements subscription, but as of right now, I have no information about that. So I don't really know how it's going to affect other Elements subscribers like myself. I mean, it's like 50 million images that are removed from the Envato Elements subscription. And I mean, I don't use them that often, but I do use them for some of our, like my other travel website. If we need an image that I wasn't able to get on location, then I can try to find it. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to reach out to Envato Elements specifically and see if I can get some more information from them. So if I do, I will let you know. And again, if any of you guys know, or if you've already reached out, let me know in the comments. And also let me know if this affects you as well in the comments. Like, let's get a show of hands for anybody who is a contributor to 2020. Leave me a message in there. Love to hear your thoughts on that. So sorry for the bad news in this video, but I wish you all well, and let's pour one out for our dead homie. This is me gesturing a beer can because I don't actually have a beer because it's 9 a.m. But nonetheless, rest in peace 2020. Cheers.